Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Colin again. Colin, I'm your host for the chess community, the Virgin Islands Chess Federation, of course. And let's just get right to it, guys. Okay, we're gonna pick off where we left just the other day. Okay, remember what were some things that we talked about? We talked about castling. Hey, what's up? What were some things that we talked about? We talked about castling. We talked about how pawns move forward, optional 1 or 2 from the starting point, and they can't go backwards. And from the starting point, right, they only go forward once after that. Maybe we forgot to mention this. Now let's mention a little special move for pawns that we didn't mention the other day, right? But if there's a situation here where your opponent's piece has crossed that line of scrimmage, okay, so now they're at the 5th rank, okay, and you look to advance past your opponent here equal to that rank, past the halfway line, and you play a double pawn move that equals out with where their pawn is at, they can actually take in behind, right? And that's called en passant. Okay, so that take that was just made by white is an en passant. Okay, I'll take myself off camera here, guys, so it doesn't look too bad or whatever. But, alright, let's get back to it. So glad to have you guys here, right? It's Sunday, September 20th, about 10:20 in the morning, and I love to start my mornings off with chess. Yes, I am a very, very loving chess player, and I love waking up early in the morning to get this guys to you for the next video footage. This will be also titled Episode 0, by the way. This will be part of the Episode 0 playlist because we're just talking about rules of chess, right? We're just talking about special moves, things like castling, right? All kinds of fun stuff. And, now let's just get into a little opening here. Can we demonstrate castles again? Yes, we can. There it is. We talked about it last episode. Short castles. There's short castle kingside for white. And why did we say that castling is important, guys? Because now the king, right? The king is in fact protected. The king can even go to h1, right? That corner square in the corner just to be protected. Right? So it's protection for the king, as well as opening up now play for the rook. And that rook can get involved in the game with a rook like e1, right? Yeah, with just a rook like e1, that rook gets involved in the game one time. Bam, just like that. Okay, so let's continue play here. Does white... Okay, I'll give you guys a couple of seconds here. Based on the strategy and based on what we know of chess so far, does white actually need to capture here? Well, I give you a couple of seconds. No, white does not need to capture here. White can simply push that e-pawn forward one more square as it does, because if the knight takes, well then you're just giving up a free knight, because now white can either take with that rook or take with that knight. Does that make sense? So in a situation like this where black plays an attacking move and that pawn is defended by the knight that's behind it on f3, does not have to capture. Instead, just push. And then now this knight actually is forced to move backwards, right? Either to d7 or back to g8. Yeah. h5 is also a move for the knight. So here we go, guys. Welcome back to episode 0, Virtual Chess Online Tutorials, brought to you by Colin Heim. If you just came in, we're about 5 minutes in, on point. with another instructive video titled Episode 0, because we're not getting into beginner strategy, intermediate level strategy, or expert level strategy. We're just talking about functions of pieces and getting used to building an attack and learning about what it means to play center moves with pawns, get knights involved. We mentioned that knights hop over other pieces and bishops go along diagonals. Queens can go to any square from their position. We spoke of this. Okay, here's a pawn push, guys. This pawn is looking to attack this knight here diagonally, right? We mentioned that's how they attack. What should the knight do? Look at our computer analysis. Look at those colors. Look at those colors. Look at them. Look at red, green. What do you think red means? Red means probably the worst square, right? And we can find out why red would be the worst square. Well, if you went to that red square right here, for example, that knight that's posted up on F3 at the moment is just going to take a free knight. That's why the virtual designer is showing you in the app, in the engine, that the best moves are going to be on green, the not so good moves are going to be on orange, and definitely the worst moves are on the red squares. Okay, so that's what the engine is showing you and telling us just for this virtual tutorial. Okay, so in that situation, the knight gets out of the way. Does anybody remember queenside castles? Did we not mention queenside castles just the other day? Yes, we did. And there it is. There's the queenside castle. Long castle. Rook comes from A8 for black all the way and switches spots with that king on E8 and goes for that D8 square now the rook is placed on, and the king is also on C8. So, now, demonstrating also long castles for white as well. There it is. And when you start playing chess, you will get a better feel, yes, for when to castle and when not to castle. Yes, you will put in the time and you will put in the hours, and you will spend a lot of time finding out what castling does for your game and how to get positional advantage so that we can checkmate, these kings, right? So let's keep playing through this game. Let's follow through this particular lineup. We're about 8 minutes in now, guys. Welcome. Again, if you just started watching, this is the virtual tutorial, episode 0. We're doing a lot of side talking. We're doing a lot of sort of chit-chat here, conversation and stuff like that, because we're actually just having fun right now, right? We're just kind of going through the motions and finding out where we need to be in our own personal chess games. Okay, so let's just put up a scenario here, guys. Okay, white just captured the d5 bishop with the queen, okay, because actually it turns out black blundered. We call it a blunder, a big mistake, right? Okay, this queen drops back. This pawn gets pushed to e5, and this knight is asked a question to go somewhere. Doesn't really have anywhere good to go. You could try putting it here on somewhere like d7, but just for the game right now, we're going to put it on a blunder square. We'll put it on d5, a problem square, a mistake square to put the black knight, and the white knight will just recapture. Bishop captures, queen captures, and now let's learn about what it means to win and lose a game, guys. Okay, the black king at the moment has no square to go to. We see that, right? We see how the black king has no square to go to. It is completely isolated on that b8 square. It can't go anywhere else. Exactly. Now, with black to move, black's going to say, oh, well, I have to come up with something here. Let's say black just pushes that c pawn up to c6. Now, that pawn is defended by the black queen. So the queen obviously can't take. If queen takes, then the black queen takes, and now white is down a full queen. Now white is losing. So, it would probably be beneficial for white to back up his queen to say somewhere like b3. And black still has to answer. Black is actually down a full minor piece. So the only minor piece left that black has is this bishop. And meanwhile, white has an extra bishop. Okay, so it's kind of like, well, how the heck is black going to win here? The truth is that black is not going to win here, and we are just demonstrating this position to see how white is going to win. Okay, so we just revealed a pawn capture here for white now, because white is up a full minor piece, as we mentioned. Black only has this bishop as its one minor piece as opposed to the two minor pieces there for white. So let's just say black captures here. Captures with the rook, captures with the bishop, and white is still up 2 bishops. Okay, 2 bishops. Okay, and okay, according to the engine, what's the best square? H3. Right, and now let's just get right to it, guys. Let's see where this ends up. So there's a free pawn there for black. Okay, and white has to come up with something shortly. Okay, well, here it is. Black gets to actually sacrifice what we call a sacrifice. Okay, sometimes in chess, guys, it's not all about just having all the pieces and all the material. Just checking the time there, guys. It's not all about having all the material. Okay, it's about gaining the initiative. Now, black actually is forced to recapture here, what we call recapture. Okay, and then the queen is just going to take. Now with check. Okay, we see there in the script, right? A takes b6 just before that. Now queen takes b6 check. The king must move. The king has to go to somewhere like, let's say, only a8. We see how the engine only showed a green square for the a8 square there, guys. Why? Why can't we go to c8? We can't go to c8 because of this bishop on this long diagonal. It cuts off any other square for the king to go. And now, white has to play a move. White has to play a move that's going to win the game. Queen a6 check. Okay, and that is not going to win the game on the spot. First, you have to play a rook move here. We call this getting the rook to the 7th rank. You will hear many people, many coaches, many instructors, many trainers that you guys have in your future chess experience. They will always say, get your rooks to the 7th rank. They will say, oh, the rook is on the 7th rank. It's very common terminology and proper chess nomenclature for modern chess. Okay, guys, here we go. We just mentioned now that white had the ability to sacrifice a bishop after black got greedy and took that h2 pawn. White responds with, no, I'm getting right to it. I'm going for that b6 pawn, and I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice my bishop. Why? Because I have an extra minor piece, and I'm going to get my queen to check the king on b8. King is forced to go to a8. We mentioned why it cannot go to another square, like let's say c8 or c7, for example. And now that king is over to a8, we check it with that queen. Force the king back to the original place, and now 7th rank. Get that rook all the way to the 7th rank. And now there is actually no defense against queen a7 check and mate. So let's just say maybe black wants to just finish with some type of defending move. Well, it doesn't matter because this is checkmate. Okay. There is actually no defense to this rook lift. We call it a rook lift. Okay, other very important terminology that we have to talk about. Rook lift to e7. The rook is on e1, push it all the way up the board to the 7th rank. Don't put it at the last rank because it's just going to get taken freely. Put it at the 7th rank, because now you have a queen ready to come and land on that mating square, which we said is h7, black has no defense here. Black can play any move whatsoever. It doesn't matter. The mate is coming. Boom. Queen a7, checkmate. We see the hashtag there. And in the script, the hashtag there, guys, for engines, and again, this is a virtual online tutorial, very serious instructional. When we talk about scripts and we talk about where the numbers are and we talk about what the hashtags represent as a form of symbolism for what it means to end the game, and the game is now terminated. The game is finished. Checkmate. Queen a7, check, and mate. So we actually just went through a demonstration there, and we showed how to properly mate and how to declare a win in a chess game. So we went through this very typical opening. Okay, very typical opening. Owen's defense with e4 and b6. Owen's defense. And white decides to advance that center pawn. And we also demonstrated we're just kind of wrapping up the video here, guys, because we're just reviewing the game that we just showed to demonstrate to our audience that how a checkmate occurs on the board, just very instructionally. Again, back to this just for a moment now. What did we mention? En passant, a very special move. A very special move is en passant, when we take in behind. We take in behind when we see that our opponent pushes that pawn to their fourth rank just before they reach the line of scrimmage, the halfway line. Well, we have already advanced past the halfway line, and now they're trying to get an advantage past us. Hence why there is en passant, why we just take in behind. Okay, so there is an en passant take. Well, you will learn more about the details of en passant in your own personal games when you put in the time, the effort, and it will reveal itself to you in your future games. Continuing on now, after we saw all of this, we demonstrated queenside castles for both Team White and Team Black. We demonstrated queenside castles for both Team Black and Team White, and we demonstrated functions of rooks and queens, which are power pieces. A queen is worth 9 points, a rook is worth 5 points, a bishop is worth 3 points, a knight is worth 3 points, and pawns are worth 1 point each, and the king is worth the game. So back to these maneuvers here. And pawn pushes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen back to its original square, e8. Now the center e-pawn is attacking the knight on f6. Knight jumps to d5. Knight takes. Oops, that was a mistake because there was 2 pieces defending the taken knight on d5. And now white has a sincere advantage because those because that square was protected by those 3 other pieces. 3 other minor pieces for 2 pieces, and that exchange favors white. So after this c6 pawn push, right, just take it back, the queen is forced to not take, but actually drop back. Okay, and now black has to somehow, as we mentioned here, get back in the game. And with a move like bishop e3 and queen b6 and pawn takes and rook takes, right? We said capture with the bishop. And now white actually has a chance to drop all the way back here and defend. Okay, so we mentioned how the bishop takes here. And there's actually a nice sacrifice. We mentioned how for advantage sometimes pieces are sacrificed. Now, because how we mentioned the bishop on h3 is controlling that c8 square, king has to go to a8. And realistically, there is, in actuality, no defense for this 7th rank rook lift. Okay, not just a rook lift, but a 7th rank. And guys, this is going to conclude the video here. If you can remember how to mate black here in just one move, given that there is no defense for the player with the black pieces who is about to get checkmated, can you please demonstrate that now? Okay, so for example, black can play any move. Black can play any move. Let's just say something like Queen d6, going to attack the rook now. Now the rook is under attack from the queen. But what do we have to do here to just make it real simple? 2 ways to mate. Can you find it? Right. You can play the rook all the way over to a7 and claim checkmate. Or instead of just moving the rook again, there's also the a7 checkmate square and also the a6 checkmate square. So 3 ways to mate here, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video as much as I did, because we really showed a decent game of chess at a decent level, and I kind of just came up with it out of nothing. But to demonstrate en passant, queenside, kingside castling for both sides, a bishop sacrifice, and bishop sacrifice, as we mentioned, other nomenclature, chess terminology, 7th rank. So we went over a lot of chess terminology here today, guys. Hope you really enjoyed this one as much as I did. And there's that final checkmate for this game that we came up with. Great stuff today, guys. If it was a lot, if it was too much to digest, please leave in the comment box below what you got out of this game, and what you learned and what you would like to see in new videos. And I can't wait to get more feedback from you guys, because we have great chess expansion efforts going on right now in the Virgin Islands, and it's just so nice to be here with you guys doing this. Okay, we'll just stop there, and we'll see you guys on the other side with another episode 0, just to talk about just fun, interactive chess, and we'll keep it going at a nice pace. It was very nice to have you guys here for this long 22.5-minute video. You guys take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and goodbye. Thanks for now.